Morning, everyone. I just wanted to start with Patty Hajdu, and this was updated 2 hours ago. Hajdu says compiling a national picture of the potential progression of the virus is complicated by the fact that the federal government has to work with data provided by 13 different provincial and territorial governments using various reporting techniques. 13. Oh my goodness. How terrifying. I mean, like, that's an unlucky number, so... Like, what's the problem? I don't understand. You've got numbers coming in, right? Might it take an extra day to compile from all 13? Might it take 2 days or 3 days? Could you give us an idea? Could you give us an estimated time for this report, for this data? This has been a crisis for 2 months. We've had 2 weeks of complete shutdown. What have you been doing? I know your daily updates and stuff. Don't wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Everything is fine. Continue with your daily life. Oh, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Lockdown, shutdown. Interesting stuff, right? It's interesting how badly this has been managed. Do you want to see some propaganda? Here's some propaganda. CBC News is reporting, and this is April 2nd, yesterday at 4:54 p.m. Chief medical officers are leading Canada through COVID-19 crisis, and many are women. They are on Canadian televisions and smartphones day after day. Chief medical officers tirelessly updating the country on the COVID-19 pandemic and what needs to be done to fight it. Many of them are women who were unknown to most Canadians prior to the pandemic, but are becoming household names, earning respect and even fan clubs along the way. Dr. Theresa Tam, Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, is leading the charge to not just flatten the curve, but plank it. She provides the daily media briefings, and she's the one featured in the government's public awareness campaign, not Prime Minister Justin Trudeau or Health Minister Patty Hajdu. Here's an interesting article that was published on March 29th. Spencer Fernando did this. He said, devastating timeline reveals total incompetence of Theresa Tam's virus response. And yeah, they did nothing. They did nothing. This government's non-response is notable, right? Here's an Edmonton Journal timeline in a similar note, but it's comparing to Taiwan, or there is a report comparing to Taiwan, but the Edmonton Journal says the road to Canada's COVID-19 outbreak, timeline of federal government failure at border to slow the virus. This is Ms. Tam's job. This is Ms. Hajdu's job. So why is the CBC saying they're doing a good job when they're clearly not? Right? Isn't that strange? Here's CTV News on April 1st. They say number of COVID-19 deaths confirmed by local public health units is nearly double what Ontario is reporting. So Ontario is presumably either cutting the numbers in half or misreading their reports. Here's the data on that. Data from Ontario's 34 local public health units shows that at least 68 people infected with the novel coronavirus have died, a number nearly double what provincial officials reported Wednesday morning. In its 10:30 a.m. update, the province reported 37 deaths, but as of noon, the data gathered by CTV News Toronto shows the number of COVID-19 related deaths in the province adds up to 68. When asked about the discrepancy at a 3 p.m. news conference held at Queen's Park, Ontario's Associate Chief Medical Officer, Officer of Health, Dr. Barbara Yaffe, I think that's how you say that, said she was, quote, kind of surprised by the difference in numbers. Yeah. Yep. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird to say, oh, aren't the women doing wonderfully? No, and it doesn't matter what their gender is. They're doing a poor job. Back to this. Henry, a brilliant communicator. Henry, who worked in Toronto during the SARS crisis, had also battled against Ebola, H1N1, and polio, and had been lauded for her calmness, honesty, and humanity. Following an outbreak at a long-term care home in BC, tears welled in Henry's eyes during a medical briefing when she talked about the risk of COVID-19 to seniors. People responded with appreciation that she showed compassion. Actually, if you watch that, she was talking, and what she was talking about was exposing high-risk individuals, but she couldn't say high-risk individuals. She choked on the words high-risk individuals and instead just kind of stopped talking. And I don't know if she fully cried, but she was definitely trying to not cry. And that's not a criticism of her, but what's notable is what words she choked on. Why did she choke on those words? Like, because everybody's high risk? Because everybody above the age of 20 is high risk, maybe? And she didn't want to mislead people, maybe? Back to this. Scrolling down a little bit, one of those politicians, Toronto's Mayor John Tory, said in an interview that the top women doctors have helped Canadians understand the pandemic. They speak in a way that is obviously informed, is articulate, is straightforward, he said. I think that's what people are looking for, people they can trust. Yeah, you trust Dr. Tam? Devastating timeline reveals total incompetence. Total incompetence. Absolute, completely. It's incredible. Here's Canada's Minister of Health says there's no indication that China falsified the data in terms of coronavirus infection and death rate. Here it is. Yesterday, the U.S. intelligence community concluded that China intentionally concealed the extent of the outbreak.
There's no indication that the data that came out of China in terms of their infection rate and their death rate was falsified in any way. In fact, if you look at the death rate overall in China, it's much higher than the one we're seeing now.
So is it right? I mean, look at these women leading us through this. Here's the Brian Lilly article asked about intelligence reports that China lied about their handling of the COVID-19 panic. Justin Trudeau and his government gave 3 different answers in about an hour. Total incompetence from this government. Total incompetence. You can read that article. I'm not going to. I have to go. I just wanted to show you all this. China concealed extent of virus outbreak, U.S. intelligence says, right? China has concealed the extent of the coronavirus outbreak in its country, underreporting both total cases and deaths that suffered from the disease. I'm just going to leave it there. I really, really have to go. Here's another one. Canada likely did not stockpile enough masks, other protective equipment. Health Minister, that's Patty Hajdu, amid reports that some hospitals are rationing masks, surprised by the COVID-19 outbreak. Health Minister Patty Hajdu says Canada likely did not have enough personal protective equipment stockpiled ahead of this pandemic. You'd think she'd know. Why doesn't she know? That's an answer to how much did you have stockpiled? Oh, I couldn't possibly answer that. Doctors face sanctions for prescribing unproven COVID-19 drugs. I'm sorry, I literally have to go in 2 minutes, so I'm doing my best to get through this. But basically, the COVID-19 drugs, hydroxychloroquine, and I know I got that wrong the other day, and they're doing their best to say don't use this. People will be, the statement also says there's a serious lack of evidence for using the experimental drugs to treat COVID-19 and warns about the potential side effects, which can include heart damage, right? And here, this is reported in Canada on March 27th. Here's April 2nd. Hydroxychloroquine rated most efficient coronavirus treatment. A poll of doctors finds. You can read this. Here's the actual poll. Okay, 75% in Spain. Hydrochloroquine was overall chosen as the most effective therapy among COVID-19 treatments from a list of 15 options. I mean, that's not conclusive, but it's interesting, right? It's very interesting. And it's notable because why are we threatening doctors for threatening to have this and prescribe this to potential patients? I know they're doing trials in nursing homes of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, but once we have verification of efficacy, it is not ethical to withhold this treatment from other people. If it works, you have to give it to patients. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I have to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. There's more coming. Doug Ford's going to announce the models that they've been working off of later today, so that's something to watch. There's lots going on. I know I've blown through this episode, but I say again, I really have to go today, so I apologize. But thanks for watching, and I think I said all my end of the show stuff. Oh, you can find me on podcast apps as well. If you don't want to go to YouTube, you can just look me up on a podcast app, Canada Poly, and I should come up on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great